Over the last few months, CBS News, along with YouGov, has been tracking Americans for our Nation Tracker and monitoring their views on the Trump administration, Congress, and the country. Elections Director Anthony Salvanto joins us now to take a look at our new findings. Anthony, when we talked a month ago, you came up with 4 groups. Let's check back in with those 4 groups. Let's start with the believers.
Right. The believers are the group we've identified, and they're about a fifth of the country. They're the base of the base for the president. They support him strongly, and they're really defined by, and as people process all this news that's come out in the last few weeks, they're defined by this singular trust in him. You can see it in where they trust to get accurate information. They say it comes from him above all others. So, for example, this is the group that says he was wiretapped. Other groups are more skeptical. This is the group that doesn't think that analyses of his legislation are nonpartisan. And you also see them trust him when it comes to Congress and legislation over Speaker of the House Paul Ryan, and even, John, over the Republican Party as a whole. And, this for me echoes a little bit of what we saw even last year in the primaries, where Donald Trump was running against the establishment, the Republican so-called establishment, and these supporters still want that. They still see him as the singular figure that can make Washington work.
Quickly, what are their thoughts about health care?
Well, interestingly, they're not yet sold on the health care bill. They're more adopting a wait-and-see attitude, which is sort of like a lot of his supporters. Not yet sure it helps them.
Let's go now on to the conditional voters. They like Donald Trump, but they're not as firm as the believers. They perhaps listen to other voices or might run away from it.
Right. This is the kind of folks who really liked his address to Congress a month ago. They thought it was presidential. But now what they've seen in the last few weeks is starting to make them a little more nervous. So they're still optimistic, but not yet confident. They say the president might be distracted, not focused. They'd prefer for him to focus on the economy. They don't like the tweeting so much. And so that's got them a little bit wavering, but they are still supporting. They still like the economic news that's come out. They still give him credit for a lot of that. But on the health care bill, it's interesting, too. They also don't see what it would do for them. And again, remember, so much of this is transactional. Unless they see that connection, they're not yet ready to support it.
All right, let's move now on to the curious group, which is a portion of the country that is available for Donald Trump. They're not set against him, but they're not in his camp.
Right. Available. They want to be optimistic. They want him to deliver for them on the economy. We've seen this throughout. But they're not sold, and they're not on his side just yet because they don't like the other policies that have come out. They don't like the travel ban as much. They don't like what he's doing on immigration. They want more focus on policy and jobs. But here again, as it pertains to the health care bill, when they look at it, you see this pattern. It's interesting. The more they learn about it and the more they say that they don't think it will help them, the more nervous they become. And so this is where you see it could be really pivotal, this piece of legislation, in whether or not he can draw support to him or not.
And the final group is the resistors. Remind us how many of them there are.
Yeah, that's about a third of the country. The bulk of them are Democrats. A lot of them who did vote voted for Hillary Clinton, but a lot of them didn't vote either. And so this is a group that was kind of waiting for Donald Trump to reach out to them, and they don't feel that he has. Well, what you see there is a lot of folks have said, well, are the Democrats and the people who are opposed to the president going to become more motivated now? A lot of them report that, in fact, they are. They say that they're paying more attention to the news. They say they're paying more attention to social media and linking up to people who share their views. So that's part of it. Some of them even say they're going to the town hall meetings. At the same time, a lot of those folks are folks among this resistors group who did vote in 2016, and the folks among the resistors who did not vote in 2016 are still not paying as much attention and don't think the Democrats in Congress are being effective right now.